Welcome to Ni Santas Ni Diablas,
where we are unapologetically imperfect.
Join us as we defy society's labels of what it is to be a good girl.
We are your hosts, Kay,
Miriam,
and Rami.
Welcome to the safe space.
Oh, that part we say together.
Hey guys, welcome back.
Welcome back.
We
didn't practice that.
We did it. That was very harmonized. Yeah, so we're back with the episode on recreational drugs. We have special guest
Justin.
Justin. How do you say Justin in Spanish?
Justin.
Justin.
She says Justin with the accent.
Justin.
Justin. We're back with Justin. We're just gonna continue off.
Maybe that my dad calls him Justino. I don't know.
Oh, maybe Justino.
Justino. He goes like back and forth. Maybe that's why.
Maybe Justino sounds like a telenovela guy.
Mm-hmm.
For real.
Like Justino. Ay, Justino.
That's how I feel.
That's disgusting.
Not mad at it.
You guys could stop.
Let's
It's
get back.
gross.
Let's get back to this.
Yeah,
Another episode.
let's get back to
That's another episode.
Yeah.
Another episode.
Kinks. Stay tuned.
Anyways, so we're just gonna start off this episode with a little story time. So like I mentioned previously, when I went to Toronto, I decided to be a little risque and do a little edible while we went to the Ripley's aquarium. And so it was like a really good experience because we went to like a small dispensary, and she educated us and she taught us about microdosing because I had a really bad experience that we'll talk about in just a bit. So we microdosed, and I started off with the sativa, and then like we kind of ran out, so we kind of took we mixed it up with the indica, which was fine. Like I had a really good time at the aquarium. Obviously edibles take like a minute for it to hit, so we took it like a little bit for it, but by the time we were at the aquarium I was like high. So we had a really good time. Everything was great. And the aquarium has like this kind of like, at the airports where they have it's not like an escalator, but it's like a walkway where it
The
moves.
belt, like
The belt. So they had that for a big section of the aquarium. Dude, I didn't even have to walk. Like I was just standing there.
You're like,
and I was just like, oh, wow. Oh
am
my
I
God. And like you see like, because it was like a dome, and you just see like, it was like
the fish.
10 out of 10 would recommend. Definitely go to the aquarium high. Perfect. The problem was after the aquarium.
Oh, okay.
What happened? We had to get an Uber, and we were both high as fuck. And I was just like, literally just at that point, I feel like I had more like indica in my system because I was just like a boba. Like I was just like, like literally could barely communicate. Like I was just like mellowed out. And so luckily, I don't know how, can't tell you how, we got an Uber, and we had this great idea of going to the mall because we needed an outfit for the Bad Bunny concert.
I thought you had an outfit.
Yeah, but you always want to change it
up. When
up.
you go on vacation,
You always want to change it up. And you know what's crazy? I bought a whole nother outfit. I didn't even wear it. I did not even wear it.
Well, you can wear it in the summer.
So wait. So you bought it for it, but you wore the original outfit. Okay.
I originally brought. So it was a waste of money and time. But we went to the mall. We had this bright idea. Let's just go to one of the biggest malls in Toronto, because why not? And we're high. Dude, it was just like anxiety on 10 at that point, because we got there. It was fine. Everything was fine. But then we were just like getting really hungry. And we were like, oh, let's look for the food court. We could not find the food court anywhere. Like I felt like we were going in circles. And we were like, let's just go and we'll like Uber to a restaurant because we know a restaurant has food. But we couldn't find the exit. So we ordered our Uber and we could not find the exit. Like everywhere we would go, we could not. We became so fucking paranoid. Like we were just like walking and walking and walking. But I was so like mellowed out. I realized that I don't know what strand we took in Cali, but I don't know if it is the indica. Like it mellows me out so much where I can barely even communicate. Like I just feel like in my head I'm speaking, but I know I'm not talking. Like I can't physically talk. So I was trying to say like something, but I couldn't.
Isn't
and we were
that
just
like
walking.
Like an example. What's that thing with sleep when you're sleeping?
Yes, that's it's kind of like what is it, like sleep paralysis?
There you go. Yeah.
Like you want to do something, but it's like in my mind is working, but like physically, like I'm just so mellowed out that I can't even verbalize what I'm thinking. So I was just following Jadi the whole time. I was just like, and she was like, oh my gosh, she's freaking out. But like I'm freaking out too on the inside, but I'm just like, no, my body's just so mellowed out. I can't physically freak out, but like my head was like freaking out because I became like, I was like, how the fuck are we gonna get out of here? Like we're both high and the Uber's waiting for us. But yeah, it was kind of similar to Cali. So we went to Cookies in Cali.
So for like the people we went with, they are super educated.
They were potheads.
They just wanted to go see just to see what the hype was all about for Cookies. So we're like, okay, let's go. Like, let's tag along. Yeah. So mind you, like you said, Cookies is like this big. It's kind of like the Walmart.
Yeah.
You know, so you're not having people in depth conversation about like what is this, blah blah blah. They're trying to get you in and out, like
what do you want? Because there's a line outside the door.
So we end up buying edibles. I buy these watermelon gummies,
and I bought these cookies. Right? Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm excited. You know, first time ever. And like my brother's like, you know, watch out, just be careful. I'm like, I'm fine. So we get home. I take one, and I can't remember how much it had in it.
I think it was 10.
10. I think it was right?
10 milligrams. And then, so hers was 10, and then the cookies were also 10. But I took a cookie, and I was like, I ain't feeling shit. So I took a gummy. So I had a total of 20 milligrams for my first time taking edibles.
I didn't have the cookie either because it was chocolate chip, because I don't like chocolate chip. So I remember it was like nighttime. Like we were tired. So
yeah, we weren't going out that night. So we were just like, yo,
we go to our quarters. We go like to like be rest for the night. And I remember.
But first of all, it was our dumbasses who were just like, we took the edibles, waited like 10 minutes, and we're just like,
nothing happened.
All right, we're not feeling anything. We're just gonna go to sleep.
Yeah, basically. So I go into my room. I start watching a movie. What movie? It was like Save the Last Dance. I remember that. And I'm good. Like, I'm good. And then no lie, this is how I remember it felt like, you know how a TV shuts off? It goes, zoom. It felt like my body completely went, zoom, zoom.
I just love when she tells that story because she has to say, my body went, zoom. Literally every time she tells the story, she says the same thing.
It literally felt like that. Like, I turned off, like, basically, but I turned something on. And I remember, like, what the hell is going on? Like,
Did you forget?
No, like, well, I was like, what the heck? I was like, what the heck is going on? I'm like, it's the edible. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, okay, let me just watch this movie. And like, I couldn't like focus on the movies. Like, let me go shopping. And I was shopping online.
Shopping.
And then I was like,
calm down.
I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna. And they say when you try not to panic, you end up more panicking more.
Yeah,
so
it happens all the time.
Like, I'm like, oh my god. Let me calm down. I'm like, I'm freaking out. So I go to my brother's room. I open the door. I'm like, boom. I'm like, I'm gone. And they start laughing at me. Him and his girlfriend just start cracking up. He's like, how much did you take? I'm like, I took one gummy. Like, oh my gosh. It felt like the room was like spinning. I felt like I turned like 3 times. Well, I didn't want to get to a point where I was panicking. I was going to like call the cops because I've experienced people who like straight up lose it because they just don't know what to do with themselves. So like, I'm gonna go to my room. I didn't sleep the whole night. I was in my room. Rami and Rob were in the next room, and my thought process was, I'm gonna lock my door because they're gonna kill me. No one couldn't tell me that these people were not plotting my death. I could have sworn they were plotting my death. Because then at one point I start hearing mad noises from their room.
No, you took something else, girl.
I'm like, oh my gosh, like what the freak, they're gonna kill me, like, oh my god. And have you guys ever seen the movie Step Brothers? That scene when they're sleepwalking, I thought they were tearing up their room. I was like, oh my god, we're not gonna get our deposit back. Like,
that's what she's worried about.
Like, my mind was just like running, but like no one was knowing, no one knew it, because I was like, I'm just gonna go. And I didn't sleep the whole night. And you know that I love that meme of the girl sitting on the bed with the white shirt with her legs crossed.
Oh, Tiffany.
Yeah, something like that's how I was the whole night. I was like, I'm not gonna move. And then on top of that, my room had a door to the back.
Oh yeah,
and we had hobos.
That was
and Cali. The Cali, like, it was a beautiful street, but we were on the alleyway. The house had in the alley. So every time we would go home at night, there was always some drunk ass guy like crapped out
Near
of
the
his
house,
head.
yeah.
So I'm like, oh my god, this person's gonna come through the door. Rob and Remy are gonna kill me. Like, this is not good. And I'm like, I just don't want to be that person that gets so crazy. I feel like I have to go to the hospital. Like, but eventually, like, the morning hit. I remember I was like, should I go see them? And I knock on the door. I'm like, hi guys.
And then she's like, did you guys feel that? So while she was going through all that,
Uh-huh.
I had fallen asleep right after. So I took the second edible. I had fallen asleep, knocked out. And then I get woken up in the middle of the night. And that's when it hit me. That's when everything hit me. Because, like, I woke up, but I couldn't move. So I took in 20 milligrams. So, like, I woke up. I couldn't move. I just felt, like, heavy. Like, I felt like I had bricks on top of me. I could not move. My mouth was so fucking dry. And at that point, like, I didn't, you know how you were just like, it's edibles.
Yeah.
It didn't click for me. It didn't click for me. I went straight up on panic mode.
Okay.
Because, like, I was like, I can't move my body. I thought I was having sleep paralysis. I was like, can't move my I've never had sleep paralysis,
It
but like
sucks. I've had it before.
yeah, but like Rob has, and so he's told me about it. I was just like, shit, I have sleep paralysis. I'm gonna fucking die because my anxiety is gonna take me through the roof.
Oh, no.
So like I started panicking, and then he told me, he's like, yo, like you're high. Like he was trying to calm me down, and I finally was able to like, you know, sit on the edge of the bed, and I'm shaking. Like my body is just like literally shaking like this. My legs are shaking. And he's like, yeah, that's happened to me before. Like, just, you gotta chill out. Like, you're just high. It's okay. You're just high. And I'm just like, can you hear me? I was trying to talk to him, but like the same thing happened. Like
you couldn't process.
I couldn't process the words. And then like, apparently I was talking. I was like, can you hear me? Can you hear what I'm saying? And I kept like, my mouth is dry. Like that was just it. And then after thank God he was with me, because if
Didn't
not,
he take some though?
he did, but he's been high before.
Okay.
Like he has a history of, you know, smoking weed.
Okay.
So like he already knew what was happening, but like I did. That was my first time. I didn't know what to expect. It was not like being drunk at all. Like
Nope.
I've been drunk a couple times. Like a lot of times, but
once or twice.
Yeah, but it was not. It was a whole new feeling. So thank God he was there, because he like literally calmed me down, because I was like panic mode. He was like, chill out, and I was just like, oh my God. In my head I was like, we're gonna have to call the ambulance, because no, I was like, honestly, we're gonna have to call the ambulance because I'm gonna have a panic attack.
Literally.
And I cannot move. I wanted to stand up and I physically couldn't. I was like, I need to call an ambulance. He's like, just calm down, go to bed. Then I went to sleep, and then I woke up, you know.
It's funny because like she was like panicking because like she couldn't move. I couldn't stop moving. Like, I was trying to.
So that makes me wonder if there were two different strands, like if they were like,
but at the same time, it affects everyone differently.
Shit.
Right.
I was
And
at the
then-
door like,
So when it comes to edibles, 5 milligrams of THC is pretty much equivalent to smoking like one joint. That's what people say.
oh, okay, so,
So it's
Oh my
like-
God.
You have 20
Four joints?
milligrams,
Ma'am.
that's like
Four-
4 joints.
I had to.
So of course it's not completely like 100% accurate.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. But
around
it's,
there, right? And also after that, it's like, all right, you eat an edible. It's all based off like metabolism and how quickly your body like digests things and processes things. Like for me, it could be very different than for Miriam or for like Michaela or Remy. Like anyone, it could be different for all 4 of us right here.
yeah.
It might hit me in 2 hours. It might hit you guys in the next like 20 minutes. Who knows?
I
Just
can't
based
remember
off-
how long it took
I
us.
don't know. I went to
hit.
bed.
So usually it's like you should wait like at least an hour before taking more.
That's what they
Hour,
were.
hour and a half.
Oh, I didn't take no more.
So when
took
I
that one.
when I was in Toronto, she told us that she was
Yeah,
like, take
always
one
hour and a
and then
half.
wait. She told us an hour and a half. See how you feel, and then you can take more.
Yeah.
That's when she taught me about microdosing.
Yeah.
And she gave us little, because I told her, I was like, I took 20 milligrams, and I was like, not good. She was like, oh, well, me personally, that doesn't really do much to me. But she gave us like 2.5. She gave
Well,
us 2.5,
okay.
right?
Professionals.
Damn. She gave us 2.5 like gummies. So she was like, you know, just take one, see how you feel.
Were they just THC or THC and CBD?
I don't know.
Okay, because CBD, when you have a higher dosage of CBD than you do THC, it can actually reverse effects of THC. So let's say you take like a 5 milligram edible and a couple hours go by, you're super, super, super high, you're kind of freaking out, don't know what to do, take some CBD. I'll bring you right back down, like pretty quickly.
So like if
Yep.
you're paranoid,
Take CBD.
take CBD and like you're gonna calm
Yeah.
down.
I needed a gallon
And
of
that's
that.
exactly why they do make like a 2-to-1, like 2 parts THC, 1 part CBD. This way you have your THC, you feel good, you get that psychoactive high effect from it. That CBD just takes off that slight edge. So this way
Wow.
you're a little bit more clear-headed because CBD brings down a bit, not feeling that paranoid feeling, and you go about your day. Then of course you're gonna have the opposite end of the spectrum where you have more CBD than THC. So that when you have that, you're not really gonna feel THC as much, but it's still gonna get all the good attributes from it. So it'd be good for like pain, inflammation, all those different like good THC things that you need from it. But you can still have your CBD dosage and not get like high and like groggy or slow or however it makes you feel.
Wow.
Damn, we just
The
need the
whole thing.
CBD.
Yep.
We just needed
Just need the
CBD.
CBD.
That's crazy. I didn't know. I don't think a lot of people know that though,
No, yeah.
A
it's
lot of
definitely-
people. I don't think
At the
it'll.
same time, a lot
because
of
I've never heard
people
that.
aren't using their CBD in conjunction with THC just yet because CBD is super, super accessible. THC, not really quite much as yet.
Right.
So it's not really talked about as much, but all the different cannabinoids actually all work in conjunction with each other. It's called the entourage effect. So like, let's say just like
That's
the
a
plant
big word
itself.
for Elmo.
Entourage? Was it entourage?
Entourage effect.
Oh,
That's a
entourage.
big word for
you have an
Elmo.
entourage. You have like all the
I heard it different. I thought it was more fancy. Entourage. It was entourage.
Entourage?
Entourage.
entourage effect.
That's a big word, bro.
So like I said, it has like all the different cannabinoids within the plant. There's all different ones, and when you have all of them together, you get more of a feeling from it. You get more of effects from it. That feels differently than when you just have like THC or CBD by itself. So like let's say you're smoking a joint, you're smoking actual plant matter itself, nothing extracted from it. You're smoking the whole plant. That's full spectrum as it gets. You get the whole spectrum of everything within the plant. Whereas if you have
sense.
the edibles, they're extracting just THC or just CBD or just whatever it is from the plant and putting that into the edible. So this way you're only getting that one THC effect, which is also why some people kind of react more poorly towards edibles just because
Right.
you're not getting,
It's not a balance.
yeah, it's not quite as balanced as flower can be. But also at the same time, you can have one-to-one edibles. You can
Yeah.
make them however you want. So it just depends.
Can I? Okay, so since I was paranoid, what do you think associates that a lot with people taking like edibles or like that paranoia comes in? Is it like something you already have in your head of like, should I be not doing this, and does that cause paranoia to like creep in more, or is it like
So paranoia is just a natural side effect of
Okay.
THC, and that is a THC side effect,
Mm.
especially when you have higher doses of it. The higher dose, the more like you are of paranoia. So if you're taking a dose that you're not used to, well, like let's say you're taking the 20 milligrams, something you're not used to, there are way more odds of being paranoid from that.
Got
just
it.
Because
Yep.
it's just a high dose of
felt that,
THC.
makes
sure.
sense?
So,
But of
like,
course,
how much CBD would you have to take to, like, chill
Balance
yourself
out.
out?
So
I mean,
10
even
milligrams.
just a little bit, even just 10
Okay.
milligrams would be enough
Oh.
just to calm you
all
down
I
a little
needed.
bit. If you want to
coulda
just be
slept.
sober and just be good, take a bunch of CBD. Take 20, 30,
And then
40
you'll be like
milligrams.
not high.
Won't be high, but you might be a little bit sluggish and like a little
Oh,
slow
okay.
feeling
Okay.
from like the CBD effect from it.
I mean,
But-
that's better than being paranoid.
Exactly. So if you are going through like a panic attack or anything like that, CBDs are definitely like your best friends.
Understood.
So like you said earlier, you're not a fan of sativa because it makes you too anxious.
Yep.
Let's say you like decided to be risque and took sativa, and you were just like, "Yo, this is just way too much." Would you have taken then the CBD just to like chill you out a little bit more?
Yep,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay.
And usually, like especially when I was back at the dispensary, like I said, I had access to all the products that I needed. I would have everything I needed for like daytime, nighttime, going out, relaxing. I also had like my CBD as well. And I would just use that whenever I needed it. Because definitely sometimes I'm like, all right, whoa, way too high, feeling like anxious, feeling paranoid, and I just need to cut the edge off a little bit. So
Yeah.
some CBD right there, it definitely helps.
That's so good to know.
Yeah.
That's so helpful.
That is so
Even-
helpful.
Even like a CBD like vape or cart or just disposable pen, anything like
It
that.
helps.
Just because whenever you're vaping or smoking, you feel that instantly. So
So it'll do the job faster. It'll chill you out
Instead
faster.
of waiting for like an edible CBD thing to kick in or something, a couple
it.
puffs and like a couple
You're
minutes go
good.
by, you're good. Yeah.
So what are the main benefits of cannabis?
So it really depends. It's such a wide thing, really. It's kind of hard to say it's good for this, and this.
Because it's
but
like
also at the same
a whole
time-
spectrum.
Exactly.
'Cause people
I-
use it for
Product
different
family.
I always
things.
heard like the
Yeah.
main one was glaucoma. Was that glaucoma?
Really?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
you know
it
what? I
is
think
very
I have
different
glaucoma. That's like when you have pressure in your eye.
Yeah.
Correct.
And pressure and your eyes get like cloudy.
Oh, I
have to,
don't
like,
got
lose
that.
vision and
They say
everything.
the-
I think
like-
I'm high risk for glaucoma.
I remember
Okay.
hearing like experience like
scary.
medically was
should get
glaucoma.
my eyes
Like
checked,
people
but
have
get your eyes
glaucoma,
checked.
have their
I
medical.
don't got
You got
Yeah.
insurance.
So that was glaucoma was one of like the first things that kind of led people to getting cannabis for it. Just because even like back like 30, 40 years ago, people would be like, oh yeah, like glaucoma, cannabis, smoke that. And everyone knew that was like the fix for it. That's always been like, everyone knew since like probably, I don't know, 100 years ago. Like,
Oh wow.
cannabis is good for glaucoma. Like people just knew that. So even like before we had medical programs, people were getting cannabis to treat their glaucoma. And I believe it was like prescribed legally in some places as well.
Yeah, I remember that.
You can definitely get it through doctors, depending where you are. But now there's so many other like reasons and possibilities and ways to get medical cards, especially like let's say in PA, just the state I was familiar with, 'cause I was working there. There was a long list of things that would qualify you for a medical cannabis card there.
Is like anxiety like a valid like medical condition, like, or is
So
it
in the state of PA, yes, not in
Okay.
all states.
Mm.
Just because you also do have the argument of THC causes anxiety.
I can.
So-
they have
see
a they have a
that.
point there.
Yes, but when it's used responsibly and in the right way, it can actually help treat your anxiety. So it really just depends. If you know your limits, know how you're using it correctly, it can be great for your anxiety. Whereas if you're just, I don't know, buying whatever from your dude on Snapchat, like, I don't know about that.
Not the
But-
dude on Snapchat.
Yeah, let's be real. Everyone has one of those.
Yep.
Like, come on.
Talking about your dude on Snapchat, what's the what's the main difference? Like, I don't want to say the main difference, because obviously when you get stuff from a dispensary, it seems, I've only gotten my shit from a dispensary, it seems like it's way more monetized, I would say, like way more by the books, versus like you have like
Your
a
dime
guy,
bag?
yeah, you
So,
like you have a guy, you know, on the corner that's
Yeah.
like,
How
oh,
much you
like,
want?
yeah, like,
Yeah.
oh, I have edibles, like, don't worry about it, like $20.
so it all depends on how much you trust that person, honestly.
That-
Because
yeah.
like I said, I had my connect Tommy who had his own farm. Like he had acres and acres and acres and acres and acres of land where he just grew. And that was what his thing was. He probably made like millions and millions a year doing this. Like he did this.
Legally?
Not legally at first. Now
But like,
probably, I
'cause,
don't know.
yeah, but how do you have like
Um,
farms and it not be legal?
You can do whatever you put your mind to
It's
it.
so crazy because
It's
it's
smart.
it's just so
Yeah.
crazy though because it's a literal plant.
Yeah.
Like it's a literal plant, and for it to be illegal to just plant a plant,
Mhm.
like that blows my mind that there was such
Yeah.
stigma behind just a plant.
Because of how it
Definitely.
made you feel, yeah.
Definitely.
Wow.
But just going back to the question there, like I knew where this was coming from. I knew it was coming directly from his farm. I knew it wasn't being passed through 20 different hands coming up from, I don't know, coming up from Mexico, crossing the border in the back of some van and being packed up in trash bags and being thrown into this trunk, thrown into that trunk, sitting in this
Someone's
car for 2
digestive
weeks,
system.
sitting, yeah, like
It's a real thing
it could
because
be anywhere.
yeah.
So if you trust your guy and know where it's coming from, it's kind of like a clear chain there, then cool. Yeah, of course. Whereas like some random guy in the corner, like I got loud. I don't know about that. Like, I don't know if he's going to be honest
Okay.
about where he got it from. And you can't ask him where he got it from. What strain is that? I don't know. Loud. It's not.
Yeah,
Smoke
it's
it. What?
True. Yeah.
No, like, so it really just depends. And then even when it comes to dispensaries, if you're smoking medical cannabis, then you know 100%, all right, cool, this came from somewhere clean, it was tested, or should be clean at least.
Yeah.
It was tested and went through a bunch of checks. I know in PA, it was a complete seed to sale system, what they called it. So from the second that the plant was put into ground, it was tracked. It had a number, it had a batch number, everything. And the second that seed grows up to be like a full flourishing plant, they harvest it, of course. And after they harvest it, they test it. They test it for pesticides, test it for mold, test it for cannabinoid levels, test it for terpene levels, test it for everything. And then let's say they're putting it into a cart. Then they extract it into oil and they test it again to make sure it's clean after that process.
So
'cause there are
it's
some
super
chemicals in play.
regulated.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Especially in dispensary. Once we get dispensary level, we have Department of Health just down our backs constantly. That was like the worst, being compliant. I had this one compliance manager. I think his name was Jacob. And honestly, he was the worst. But he was super nice, super kind. But like his job was just frustrating for me. Like it was his job to make sure I did everything like as perfect as possible.
Yeah,
And
he
it would
was
be
just
like,
making your job harder.
exactly, which was his job to make
Yeah.
my job harder. So I respect it. I get it. But he was too good at his job.
Yeah.
He had me sweating like constantly.
So what were
Damn.
like some of the regulations that they would?
So it's like we couldn't. So in PA, it's different from, of course, different states. And of course, if like Canada, how they do things there, especially medical versus recreational markets. So in our medical dispensaries in PA, you couldn't open any of the products, so you couldn't see any of it before you bought it. So let's say there was, I don't know, we had probably like 60 strains of just flower by itself on our menu. We probably had like 1,000 products total, different products total. But you couldn't physically like open up a jar of flour and like see it, smell it, and kind of like learn about it.
Yeah.
Opening it and doing so would be public health violation. Now the medicine's contaminated. You can't go into a pharmacy and be like, "Let me see some pills."
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Let me see that Percocet. Let me
Huh.
smell that Percocet.
You got wok? Ooh, like, come on,
Yeah,
nah.
that
Doesn't
makes
work like
sense.
that.
Yeah.
I get it.
So in the medical fields, it's viewed a bit more medically. So it's all closed containers and everything. When you have to have like your card, of course, you get checked in. There's purchase limits. Of course, the limits vary by state. Our limit in PA was a month's supply, whereas like I don't know, a month's supply for me could be like a hit. Month's supply for Miriam could be a pounds. Like who's to say it's not? Like
Yeah,
so
that's true.
kinda
It's
more open
subjective.
there.
Like it's
Yeah.
just like depending on.
Everything was done like super secure. All of our deliveries were all secure. You had to get your deliveries in like secure delivery area. Cameras literally everywhere. We were all like fingerprinted with FBI background checks. It was like
Holy
everything.
moly.
You're working with federally like a scheduled.
You got a federal
Drug.
job, kind of. Yeah.
almost. Yeah.
That's cool.
That's
kinda-
literally
really
like
cool.
working at a pharmacy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like with
Yeah.
narcs. Like not even like a regular
was
pharmacy.
Yeah.
with
narcotics level.
yeah, with just narcs.
Yeah.
We had pharmacists on our staff. In my store, I had 3 pharmacists who could actually break down and tell you any drug
know what's-
interactions.
Sorry to interrupt, but you know what's crazy? How we don't have to get like background check like that, and
For
we're just
pharmacy tech?
counting up these fucking
Narcs?
yeah,
Percocet?
yeah,
Yeah.
counting
Yeah.
that shit.
Crazy.
And the
No.
side effects of those pills are way worse than
Way worse.
crazy.
No type of checks.
Yeah. But having the pharmacist on the team was great, honestly, just because people walk in and be like, oh, yeah, I have X, Y, and Z procedure coming up. I'm suffering from this, and this. I'm on these medications. What should I take? What should I do? And I'm like, all right, this is way more in depth than what
It's
I
like
know.
the pharmacist.
The pharmacist will be right with you. She's on a phone call right now.
She's busy right now, but she'll be right with you. Or like that's a pharmacist. That's a pharmacist question.
Literally.
You don't think of that because, like, I think, like, you go to the doctor, I have blah, 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 you get your card, and you just go in, you just get whatever. But it's a whole, you know, like,
more.
this is what I have, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Like, what is the best? And just with all the strands, it makes sense. Like, you should have someone to, like, cater
Exactly.
to,
And some
like,
people do view it as something like medically, like something that can actually medically help them
Yeah.
benefit their day-to-day life.
Yeah.
Some people just want that relaxation. It's that high effect. So some people walk in like, oh, yeah, I just want this, this, and this. Some people walk in and it's like an hour-long conversation.
wow.
They take the pharmacist's like business card, they make appointments to come back and actually have like more in-depth conversations and everything. People come back like week to week and just like follow up on things. It got to be like kind of intense sometimes with some patients, and you got to know them and everything. It was nice. It was fun.
So along with cannabis therapy, I would say not that this is upcoming, but I've been hearing it a lot more. Mushroom therapy.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. That's something that
I like mushrooms.
No,
but, like,
because that's something that, you know, like when we were young, we're like, oh, like weed, like yikes. Like that's how I am right now about shrooms. Like I'm
that
just like,
shit terrifies
no,
me.
it's like
shrooms
you
is on a whole other level how I
shrooms?
think about
Like,
it.
but
People
that's how
only
I was
think
with
that 'cause
weed.
They don't really know about it.
exactly.
Yeah,
That's all it is.
yeah,
They
it's a lack
watch-
of education.
They watch a movie or TV show and it's all colorful and all crazy. And
Yeah.
you're floating and you're seeing tigers and everything. I've never seen tigers. I've never
You
seen any of
sure?
these colors. Like,
So I don't want to take it now.
So
I want to
you-
see a
if you
tiger.
really push it, you can.
So
Damn.
you
see tiger.
you did like, are you like a fan? Like you
So
are
yeah, I like mushrooms.
Okay.
I've definitely done some psychedelics before.
psychedelics.
Yeah, psychedelics and hallucinogens. And
What are the benefits of mushrooms? Like,
Seen a tiger.
well, apparently you don't see tigers. Like what? 2 questions. What is the main difference? Like, why switch from like cannabis to mushrooms? Like, is it really that big of a difference? And what are the benefits?
so they're definitely 2 separate different things, I'd say. You can
Mhm.
use them both in conjunction with each other, or you can use
Oh.
them separately. It really just depends. They're for different different reasons.
Okay.
So let's say like mushrooms. Mushrooms are very good for depression. They're very good for I would say energy. They're good for
So they're
just
uppers.
being-
Mushrooms are they all uppers? Like they all make you
So I wouldn't
Feel
really
good?
call them uppers.
okay?
But they can make you more energetic and
Okay.
up feeling. Yes. But I wouldn't classify them as purely uppers.
Okay.
Let's say. And most people, when they're describing taking mushrooms, they're talking about taking like a big dose, like an actual like trip dose. They're wanting to trip. They want that trip effect. That's usually around 3 grams of mushrooms. So almost an eighth of mushrooms to actually get like a full trip. That's like a normal like dosage of mushrooms. Now, when you microdose them, you can microdose like 0.2, 0.25, 0.3 of a gram.
So is that
Whereas-
like a little bit of the stem? Like how do you
How do you
not
identify?
to sound
calculate
like an
this?
idiot, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
just
but
like,
how do you
how do
calculate
you
that?
eat that?
Yeah.
Like how do you
So-
ingest that?
So one, you need a scale. You need a scale for it.
So it
can
goes by
br-
grams. You have to weigh it.
Yep, it goes by grams. Well, most people just do it in grams. You can even in a bunch of places now. Let's say in Oregon, for instance, who has recently legalized some hallucinogens, including mushrooms. You can actually just buy capsules that are already pre-filled to
Oh.
microdose levels
That's
of that
convenient.
0.2, 0.25, 0.3 gram
Mhm.
in each pill or capsule. They have it in little chocolate bars now. I've seen chocolate bars. Where it's like a Hershey bar, and like that one little like corner of a Hershey's is like just the only dose that you need. And when you're
Crazy.
microdosing it, you're not getting any of that like trip effect. You're not getting any of those like glowing orbs around lights or anything. That's usually like when you're tripping, like all the lights look like kind of like flashing, like glowing and everything. You're not getting any of that. You're not feeling like all lucid and kind of like out of it and it's like flowy and loose. You're just feeling a little bit up. You're feeling a little bit more peppy. It's kind of like you had like a super big cup of coffee and like an anxiety med. So you just feel good. You're a bit more talkative and just go about your day.
Where do you get these? I know you said Oregon has like basically legalized it.
Is it legal here?
Is it?
So it's not legal here, no. But when it comes to mushrooms, I wouldn't really say they're that heavily like persecuted like that. So if you want to
Okay.
find them, they're around. They're
Like,
even
do you
not
have
hard
to
to
like
grow
go on the
yourself.
corner and be like, shrooms?
Yeah.
You can find them. Like
How, how do you
Yeah.
identify? Because I know there's like thousands of shrooms. Like
Mhm.
like because I watched this girl who's like vegan and she talks about like, oh yeah, I eat all these, not to get high, but like to eat. 'Cause she
Yeah.
like, so like
I'm
how do
vegan.
you?
I love mushrooms.
I love mushrooms too. Give it to me, sauteed, anything. But how do you identify the ones that are gonna get you high?
So there's handfuls of different kinds, different strains. People kind of domesticated, I say, a bunch of these strains. You can
Okay.
cultivate them through spores. A lot of the time when people are buying shrooms, you're buying them from someone who's either growing them or they're getting them from someone who's growing them.
Okay.
And they're pretty easy to grow yourself.
So it's really not like, let's say, buying weed from a guy on the street. It's not getting passed around as much.
no.
Okay.
Just because it's something you gotta be a bit more careful with. Just
Mhm,
because if you are taking a lot of shrooms, you can potentially do damage to your brain.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, if you're taking too much of it, you definitely can. I don't know, probably give yourself like psychosis or something if you take way too much of it. But at the same time, you probably aren't buying enough to do that.
Yeah.
Like you would know. You would know when you have a pile of shrooms this big in your hands that like
And you
I
take it
shouldn't
all
do
at
this.
once? Yeah.
I shouldn't do this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's a hard thing to do. But definitely a big advocate for shrooms, especially using it therapeutically. Microdosing is definitely, I'm going to say, going to get more and more and more popular. There are even other other drugs that people are starting to microdose, like ketamine. That's getting super popular as well. In California, you can actually do ketamine therapy.
There you go. Okay, there you go. There's your ketamine. You can microdose ketamine. What?
Ketamine therapy is actually getting very
How do you?
wild.
So we had that question in the episode. DJ, run that back. How do you ingest ketamine? Like, do you just like shoot it up, or do you like?
If you're really that real about it,
Really?
I don't recommend that.
Okay.
No, please don't do that.
Aw, man.
But usually it's nasal
Please
spray.
don't do that.
Darn.
It's usually a nasal spray.
Oh.
Yeah.
What does the bottle look
Mind
like?
blown.
Like, how does it, like
Is
a
it like
regular
it's like
nasal
like
spray?
allergy?
Yep.
So like you
Yep.
get, but like,
Does someone like take out
does
the
a drug
nasal-
dealer make it into a nasal spray? Like, how does it become a
Same
nasal
way
spray?
people get lean and everything else. It's all legally made. Ketamine's a legal drug. It is used
It is.
prescription
Yeah. It is.
legally.
Is it for animals?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a vet. Like a vet. Just give me some ketamine.
But at the same time, like I said, there are ketamine therapy centers where you go
That's a
and they
little
put you
crazy
on
to
like an IV drip of ketamine, and you sit there for a couple hours, and it's just like
Hydrated.
IV like straight to your bloodstream, just ketamine.
What
just
does
low
that help
doses at a
with?
time. It's really good for helping reprogram your brain, and really helps with past trauma. It helps you just work through everything.
So people with
And-
PTSD.
Oh yeah, people come out feeling like brand new after a couple sessions of ketamine
So
therapy.
like we're talking about
Yeah.
like our
It helps
soldiers are
reprogram
like
everything.
yeah.
And that's the
crazy.
same
I didn't
thing
know
with
that.
Mushrooms as well. It can actually help repair a bunch of things in your brain. It help other neurological connections like start firing again, and it helps slowly just repair your brain.
I believe in God, and I believe there's a reason why these things were
These
put
are
on Earth.
all natural.
There has to be a
Uh-huh.
reason. Like I watched this guy on YouTube. He's a podcaster, and he talked about someone recommended him to do microdosing of shrooms because he has severe ADHD
Yeah, another good one
and
for that.
causes him to have anxiety. So he started microdosing shrooms. I don't know like if he kept going, but that was like my first time really hearing about like, wait, like people are really doing it. And then I saw a girl on TikTok.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, I'm gonna do my microdosing today of shrooms, and she made toast,
Yep,
avocado.
It's big on TikTok.
And I'm like, and for me, like, we just like, okay, bad. But like,
Shrooms.
Mushrooms.
That's
I
what I
used
was
to go to
saying.
work
Like,
microdosing all the time.
I was like, this bitch must be
And that was just,
crazy.
like my average everyday thing. I wake up in the morning, I smoke a little bit or take a nice stab, walk the dog, take my shrooms for the day, and it's like go to work.
call it a day.
Yeah.
I see it on pizza.
See, I feel like I wouldn't be that like
Comfortably.
you function well, but maybe I just haven't found my medium. But like when I'm high, I can't function.
It's a starting point. It's you have to start
Yeah.
somewhere, and it's like not everyone can just smoke a whole joint and it's like go about their day. Like
Yeah.
that's kind of more of a
I'd be-
seasons thing.
KO,
I've
bro.
seen-
That's me.
Can
Like,
you-
that's
I've
what
seen
I'm
people
telling
like
you.
they get their most productive when they
Nah.
are.
Yeah,
That's
some
me.
people are like
yeah,
that.
that's me. And it's like I have my days at work where I would go and I want to smoke before, and I'm just like, oh, this place sucks. I don't want to be here. My day's dragging. I can't get anything done. I can't focus on anything. My mind's just racing, blah, 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 blah. And then the next day I'm like, all right, cool, I'm going to smoke again. And I smoke. I'm like, all right,
You're
cool,
focused.
clear-headed.
Yeah.
Let's do this. Like, let's go.
Do you find yourself having a dependency on it?
Yes and no. Yes and no. I wouldn't say it's a dependency where it's like I'm addicted to it and need it. 'Cause I've definitely gone like days without it and it's fine. It's like, all right, I might have a little headache, might be a little grumpy.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, it's like, oh, I like who I am better when I am using this. I
Okay.
think I'm more functional. I think I'm getting more stuff done and more productive when I am like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like that's hard to say because I feel like for you use it as like basically if someone was taking their daily
vitamins.
like antidepressive medication, it's like, are you depending on it, or like if you don't take it, are you like a little off? Like it's kind of like, is it
Yeah.
really dependency, or is just like honestly helps you, be a better member of society?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you
But
know
then
what I
of
mean?
course
Better
there's
quality
still-
of life as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. And of course, there's always those people who who smoke all day, don't do anything, stuck on the couch, not moving, and they're just like, that's it.
Yeah,
And I feel like those people are the ones giving,
the bad rep.
because it's like lazy before weed, lazy with weed. Weed doesn't change that. You're still lazy.
No, I feel like that's what my parents, like, I would say, picture when they're like, oh, "Tu fuma hierba." Like they picture like
But then
someone not non-productive person not doing anything.
But then I feel like that's also just that racism built into cannabis itself. Because like, oh, marijuana, those lazy Mexicans smoking weed all day. And it just comes from that just right away.
Not even Mexicans, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm not
it's
gonna
that
hold
stigma,
you.
like
No, but
it's
the
white
stigma
people
of
do it.
Yeah.
They revolutionized the industry. Colored people do it. They're gangsters.
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
drug addicts. So
blah,
you
blah,
know.
blah.
That's
Yeah.
literally what it is. Do your parents have like specific have your parents ever sat you down and be like, don't do drugs?
They wouldn't like sit us down to just say that.
You know, when I entered high school, like that's one of the things they told me. Never had a sex talk. Never had a sex
Don't
talk.
do drugs.
But I got the don't do drugs talks. I got the, you know, you're entering high school. Like
Yeah.
people are going to offer you stuff and they're going to say stuff to you.
No,
Like,
it was just a given. Like, don't be stupid,
Don't-
Miriam.
yeah.
My parents would go, no bail money. You do you.
Oh,
So,
they're like,
I was
you
like,
do you, but we ain't here to have your back.
But then also at the same time, it was like, as long as I'm doing what I have to do, it was always fine. Like, not a big deal. Especially like in high school, I wasn't really smoking like that anyway. But more like when I got into college, I started smoking all the time, like more every day, more frequently. As long as I was on top of things, it was never a problem.
So your parents know, like,
yeah.
do you smoke in
I
front
have,
of?
I have a whole career in it. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
At that point, yeah, they
'Cause
have to know. 'Cause
There's some people like they'll never know. Like their parents will never know that they're in the industry because that's how judgmental their parents are against the thing.
touche, yeah, for sure. I feel like also growing up with the DARE program, is that still around?
I don't know. I look-y never
I
had
wish I
that.
still had
You
the
know?
shirt.
Oh, yeah,
I
because
went
you're
to
from the
private
city.
school. Yeah, so we didn't
Did-
have
Oh,
DARE.
you went to private school. I was like,
I
I'm
think
sure
what
I had it.
happens with DARE, it was because that stigma was so big at the time. No one was really taking their time to really, and back when we were. That's why
What year was it when we had DARE?
I was in
We were
elementary
like in
school.
fifth
I was
grade,
fifth
right?
grade.
Fifth
Fifth
grade.
grade.
Yeah.
2010s. We're aging ourselves right now.
No, it's not
2011.
No, it was even
bad.
When did you graduate high
2007.
school?
We started high school at 20.
We
Yeah.
graduated 14.
Yeah.
2007,
This was years
2006,
ago.
Girl.
2006.
I think I'm young. I think I'm young.
2006.
So what? 07?
I don't know, bro. I
I
can't do
mean,
math.
05?
Something.
Maybe.
I'm red. I wanted that
Stop
shirt.
counting down. Shit.
Oh, 2000. I know it was not
But
2000.
that's
know
where
it
I
was not
learned.
2000.
That's where I really learned the word gateway drug. Like
And that's the whole thing behind DARE. DARE was a scare tactic. It wasn't
Yeah.
supposed to be
Yeah,
informational.
and literally
There
a
was no
scare
information
tactic.
in
That's why
that.
I was just
Scare
like,
tactics.
weed? Oh my
I
god!
don't remember so much the weed. I remember the goggles. I don't know if you guys did that. Like they made you put on goggles.
No,
to
I
give
didn't
you
do
You
that.
guys had weed goggles?
Well, we didn't. It was a
Or
weed.
beer
It was the
goggles?
beer goggles.
I wasn't gonna try
Oh.
those.
To make you the sensation of like what it is to be drunk and stuff like that.
Well, maybe if I had
This
that, I
shit
would.
But
Oh my god!
but I think it was just that stigma of like it's bad.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
it.
don't do it. Say no. Never.
Because they brought that into the schools. Like that was a big part
That was
of
a
the
big thing,
curriculum.
but I don't hear it as much. Like,
No.
but then I seen like while we were in high school and college, like it kind of got like, I don't know, like I don't know if it was the cannabis industry or like the potheads kind of just like took that and was just like, oh yeah, dare, but they would be like,
We let you down,
Yeah.
lion.
yeah,
Yeah.
like like rocking dare, and they're like
Yeah.
potheads.
Yeah.
That's just counterculture. They're always gonna flip everything.
I love that.
He was a cute lion. I'm not gonna lie though.
We got something for lions.
You guys are weird.
I enjoyed the lion.
I enjoyed the
The dare lion came out. I was like, oh yeah, drug face.
Give me a t-shirt.
Give
But
me a
yeah,
t-shirt.
it's pretty interesting how it like
The dynamics have completely changed.
Yeah.
because I don't think I am not really around that many young people, but like I feel like I would have still heard it. Like I have coworkers that have young kids, and they
yeah.
never mention like a DARE program.
Yeah. I don't think it's still around like that.
I don't
And
think so either.
I feel like there's no need for it now just because there's so much information out there. It's like
Yeah.
if you want to
And it's not legalized, so
yeah.
And I
it's
wish
not
we were in a
illegal
world
most
where
places
parents
either.
will educate. You know,
Mm-hmm.
not all the school districts have to educate us, but
Yeah. Over
Not
half the
even
country, it's a
educate
legal
us.
thing. So it should be education about it. It should just be around. It should be part of just your normal like medical and health classes. Same way they teach you about the dangers of coffee.
should be.
Like we all heard dangers of coffee at a young age, but we never heard like dangers of anything else.
this is true.
Danger of alcohol.
I
Everything.
probably remember stuff. I probably was good at science if they talked about this.
Yeah.
Because like I don't remember anything from science. None of
The
that.
anatomy of a cannabis plant and this biology behind that, it's crazy. I probably learned
Photosynthesis.
so much more.
What the hell is
Yeah, that'd be dope.
photosynthesis? Like I probably learned something because I think the educational system would benefit on just giving you real life stuff to
Yeah.
educate you on.
So that way, instead of like me taking 20 milligrams, you know, I would have known, you know, just wait a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Plus
Chill
5,
out.
wait an
Or
hour.
I just
Yeah.
have to put a little bit of,
CBD oil?
CBD.
Yeah, you know, I'm a little too paranoid. Let me take some CBD. But yeah, it's just like very interesting how like miseducation can lead to like what people don't want to happen, which is like the misuse of these drugs when they can be really beneficial. So it's just like you kind of stab yourself in the back because you thought you were going to prevent, like we're going to, not for nothing, people are going to do what they want to do.
Facts.
Yeah.
We're going to try shit regardless. It's out there. Might as well
Ketamine.
just, please don't do ketamine like that.
Sorry, I just like saying the word. Ketamine.
But like I feel like if we were given the opportunity to like learn, like people wouldn't have these bad experiences,
Yeah.
which can like put their life in danger, to be honest. Like if you misuse it, like you can literally psych yourself out to the point where, you know, you can put your life at risk.
And I think also the pressure of not doing it and doing it would be completely alleviated too.
Yeah.
Because people have the pressure like, oh my God, if I did it, I did something bad.
Yeah.
Or people like, if I do it, like I think just being educated, that pressure is kind of like, I have that option. Okay, I do want to do this in the near future and this is how I can do it. Or like, I know that's not for me. Like that pressure's gone.
See, the true crazy thing for me is that how we're living like this and thinking this on the East Coast in New York. That's very like East Coast mentality, I'd say. Whereas on the West Coast, it's like they had legal cannabis medically since the 90s, like early 90s. California had that. Like before we were born, they had cannabis out there. They had farms going back like generations out there.
They
You
probably
have, like,
hear us talking and be like,
Shoot, we were watching cartoons about it.
yeah,
like Shaggy.
There's literally like
Oh, the-
5th generation pot farms out there, like 5th generation.
That's
Yeah.
wild.
It's been in the family for years and years and years. Out there, just normal. Like they have it in their tea in the morning. Like they'll have it like, I don't know, for their sleep at night. It's just a way to begin and end your day. It's just a normal thing. People smoke, people consume everywhere, and it's just easy. Whereas out here, we're like, ooh, we're living 20 years behind them.
right?
It's
We're
kinda
like
crazy.
experiencing what they did like years ago.
But
yeah.
it's what's sad about it too is that people of color really have been affected by it.
Yeah.
Because they've been arrested, the careers have been messed up, lives have been,
yeah,
and it's just the lack of education, and
Yep.
they're
That's where
more,
it all stems
and
from.
people of color are more prone to be judged than a white boy or a white girl.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
definitely.
it's kind of sad because we live in a melting pot, which is New York.
That's what part of the reason why I wanted to be in cannabis as well. Just show people that like, all right, it's not all negative. Like there's definitely positive ways to go about this and do all this. Like, all right, cool, make money in cannabis. Cool, you can do this the legal way.
Yeah.
Let's make good money doing it. And it's always great to see more and more just minority owned and even women owned brands and farms popping up like everywhere.
Yeah,
Especially in
that's great.
California, there's so many now. Like there's a bunch of awesome ones out there. It's great.
It's cool.
anyways, we should definitely do like we're gonna have at some point we're gonna have like Patreon.
I know.
So,
I was
like,
going to say on our Patreon.
On our
Yes.
Patreon, at some point we're
I'm
gonna
not
get
doing
to
shit
it.
if I'm not getting paid.
Facts. So we're gonna have Patreon, which if you guys don't know, Patreon is kind of just like a subscription.
Facts.
Definitely want to do like
Ketamine.
No.
this bitch and ketamine.
If I was gonna hear this, stop the shit out of here.
You're gonna get a special text, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
be like, "That's your fault."
I
That's
just
all
can't.
you.
That's
That's
all you.
I do
No
not.
fucking
I do
influence
not
on
want to.
that.
Mom, I do not want to do ketamine. I'm just joking. I just like I like how it sounds.
I like saying
I
ketamine,
just like saying it. Ketamine.
and she's gonna be offered ketamine, and she's gonna be like, "Well, actually,
It helps with PTSD.
I got a little bit of that, a little half a spray."
No, definitely when we have a Patreon, I think we should like.
We should definitely, go more in depth, I should say.
Yeah.
Yeah, without giving too much details. Tune in. Maybe we'll find out. But is there anything else you would like to add?
Yep.
For those, I guess, who are in a position like us, like we were raised really strict, miseducated. We're now kind of like venturing out
Yeah.
and experience it. Any like major advice you would say for someone who's like wanting to, I don't know, experiment and try?
Yeah, I would definitely say do your research. Knowledge is power. And if you're looking for negatives about weed, you will find negatives about weed. If your first Google searches
bad
bad
things.
side effects of weed,
Yeah.
you will find all the bad side effects first. So I feel like a lot of people always jump to like bad things about
What
weed
can
first,
happen.
and they see those things and they're like, oh wow. Whereas like read the back of your like Tylenol bottle. Like, come on.
Oh,
Same
so
thing.
true.
yeah.
Come on.
Liver failure.
Whereas,
Mm.
like,
Yeah.
oh, what can Tylenol help with?
Blood
People
clots.
search that first.
Thinning
Like,
of the blood.
yeah. So if you want to find bad information, it's all out there. If you want to actually find some positive information about it, do your research. Very, very easy to find. A bunch of it. Ask your doctor about it. We have medical cannabis in like over half the country now. Over half the country
Yeah.
has some form of legalized cannabis now.
There's a place
It
in
is out
Middletown.
there.
I was just about to say
Yeah.
there's a medical dispensary
Yeah.
in Middletown. I
It
didn't
looks
know
really
that.
nice in there too.
I
It
did
is.
not
It's
know
called
that.
The Botanist, owned by Acreage Holdings. I actually do not like that company at all.
Oh no, dude.
No
Um,
shout outs to them.
Yeah. Do not,
We gonna
do
bleep.
not give Acreage Holdings your money. What was the guy's name? Something Boner. Old. Yeah.
With that name.
Yeah. His last name was Boner. He was the old Speaker of the House, like Republican Speaker of the House.
Republican
And
at that.
Republican, and then the old Prime Minister of Canada, the one who was against legalization of cannabis,
Mm-hmm.
and some other guy, another politician, all came together and said, "Oh yeah, I think some money off this weed,"
Mm.
and that's what they're doing. So
Of
if you want to
course.
support
Mm.
slimy politicians, go to Botanist. If not, don't go
Damn,
there.
it just look pretty inside.
So what
They all look
brand?
pretty. Don't worry, they're all nice.
It's true. It's true. It is.
Uh-huh.
They do all look pretty
They're
though, because
beautiful. They're
every
aesthetics.
dispensary
Yep.
in Toronto look aesthetically nice. They all
Yep.
have like their different kind of thing. Like the
Yeah.
bodega one looked like a bodega from
Yeah.
like
That's cool.
the city, but it was like aesthetically pleasing. So everybody,
And that's
don't
part
go
of
by
just-
aesthetics.
Just breaking the stigma of it. People always
Yeah.
think like, oh, weed, you're gonna go some dirty drug den somewhere.
In a
It's gonna be
corner,
all sticky and
dark,
it's
yeah.
gross. Like, no, this place looks like a salon, looks like a spa. Like, I kind of want to chill here for a bit.
Like a
just talk
boutique.
to
It looks like a
people.
boutique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a specific brand you would recommend people? I know it's tough. I don't know if it's
Always
New
try
York
to
City.
find small family brands, small batch stuff. Small batch is always better, made with more love, made with more care. Definitely try to find the brands that are going to be more organic, just things of that nature. So definitely do your research. There's so many out there. There's a bunch of great brands out there, but just research it.
Good to know.
They're
Well,
very good to
that
know.
that concludes. Do you guys have anything to say?
No.
No.
It's just good to be in like
Yeah.
like
I thought she was gonna say
my
ketamine.
No, my mind's blown about how much there
No,
is
yeah.
to learn.
Yeah, and there's still like so
And
much
that's just
more.
a start.
Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah, that's
So
just
much
a
more.
the
start.
surface.
like you can counteract well like it's-
yeah.
Like
Which
I'm
is cool.
so excited to experiment because now I'm smart. Now I know what to take,
Yep.
but
and
yeah.
I'll have CBD oil.
Well,
There
thank
you
you
go.
for coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
appreciate
really
it.
do appreciate it.
Educated, right? I
Facts.
feel I don't know everything, but it's just a
No.
more understanding in the
Just like
sense
the basic things.
like what I went through. So yeah.
Don't if we would have known that in California. But it's pretty interesting because even though we were around people that were involved
Mm-hmm.
like in smoking weed and everything, like they didn't tell
Yeah.
us none of
I've had,
that.
like the old hippies being, I've been smoking since the 60s. How old are you? Yeah, twice as long as your age. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, all right, you don't know anything. And you're smoking Reggie your whole life. Like, come on.
Yeah,
Let's be
that's
educated here.
education was not handed to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we are here. If you guys have any questions, you can always DM us. And you can also follow Justin at
J_like_letter. J like the letter on Instagram.
and it's okay if they reach out if they have any questions. Yeah,
Yep.
so you can go ahead and follow him, DM him if you have any specific questions, or like if I don't know, if you want to ask us, we can always. All we're gonna do is ask him, to be honest.
For real.
So, so like if you want it to take longer, do that. Go directly to the source.
Mhm.
You can also follow us at Ni Santas Ni Santas Ni Diablas on Instagram and where else? On TikTok. You can subscribe on YouTube, Ni Santas Ni Diablas. But yeah, we're here to give you all this information because
Yes.
this whole we don't speak about it because we're not gonna do it thing that shit doesn't work because
No.
obviously like
You're gonna
I'm
find out. You're gonna have
Exactly.
those experiences. So
And
might
put
as
yourself
well.
in some situations sometimes that
Yeah.
you're gonna have trouble getting
I'm
out
a
of.
prime example of like just because you don't talk about it and just say no, that shit is not gonna work because at some point you're gonna be like, you know what, let me see.
Curiosity killed the cat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like we're curious beings, so we're here to give you that information. So you don't end up like us, all paranoid and shit.
Think your best friends are gonna kill you.
So yeah, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.